My husband texted me at 6. Working late again, don't wait up. He'd been saying that a lot lately. 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. I looked at that text for a long time. Then I did something I'd never done before. I made his favorite dinner. Pot roast. The way his mother used to make it. Packed it in containers. Drove to his office downtown. The parking lot was almost empty, but his car was there. I walked up to the 3rd floor. The lights were on in his office. I could see him through the glass door. He wasn't alone. A woman sat on the edge of his desk, laughing. He was laughing too. I stood there holding warm food I'd spent 2 hours making. Watched them for a minute. Then I turned around, left the containers by the elevator, and drove home. If you're watching this, subscribe and tell me where you're watching from. I always love knowing. My name is Grace Anderson. I'm 63 years old, and I thought I knew my husband. 38 years of marriage. You think that's enough time to really know someone, to understand them, to predict them, to trust them completely. I was wrong, but let me start before that text message, before the pot roast, before everything fell apart. Let me tell you about the life I thought I had. Owen and I met in 1985. I was 25. He was 27. I was working as a receptionist at a dental office. He came in for a cleaning, smiled at me when he checked in. A good smile. Confident but not cocky. Warm, real. We talked while he waited. Small talk, weather, traffic. Nothing important, but something clicked. Some recognition, like we'd known each other before. In another life, maybe. He asked me to dinner before he left. I said yes. We went to an Italian place downtown. Cheap. Red checkered tablecloths. Candles in wine bottles. The kind of place young people go when they're trying to impress each other but don't have much money. We talked for hours. About everything. Our families, our dreams, our fears. He wanted to be an architect. Design buildings that would outlast us. Leave something permanent in the world. I thought that was beautiful. Romantic, even. We got married 2 years later. Small wedding. Just family and close friends. Nothing fancy. We couldn't afford fancy. Owen was still in graduate school. I was still at the dental office. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment with furniture we'd found at garage sales and thrift stores. It wasn't much, but it was ours. And we were happy. Owen graduated. Got a job at a mid-size firm. Started designing office buildings, shopping centers. Nothing glamorous, but steady work, good money. We moved to a better apartment, 2 bedrooms. We started talking about having children. I got pregnant at 29, a daughter, Lily. She came out screaming, red-faced and furious at the world. Strong from the beginning. 2 years later, a son, Adrian. Quieter, thoughtful, they were everything. Our whole world, our purpose. Owen worked hard, long hours. But he came home, always came home. For dinner, for bedtime stories, for soccer games and dance recitals and parent-teacher conferences. He was present, engaged, a good father, a good husband. The years moved fast, too fast. Lily grew up, went to college, got married, had children of her own, made me a grandmother at 54. Adrian followed, different path, different timeline, but the same milestones eventually. Marriage, children, grandchildren. Owen became successful, really successful. Made partner at his firm at 45. Started winning awards, recognition. His buildings appeared in architecture magazines. People knew his name, respected him. He'd achieved what he'd set out to do, left his mark, built things that would last. We moved to a bigger house, better neighborhood, the kind of place with manicured lawns and holiday decorations and neighborhood watch signs. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a kitchen with granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. Everything I'd ever wanted, everything we'd worked for. But something changed. Slowly. So slowly I didn't notice at first. Or maybe I noticed and ignored it. Because noticing meant acknowledging. And acknowledging meant dealing with something I didn't want to deal with. Owen started working later, staying at the office until 8, 9, sometimes 10. Big project, he'd say. Important client. Can't let them down. I understood. Success requires sacrifice. I'd been married to him long enough to know that, to accept it. But it kept getting worse. Later nights, weekend work, business trips that seemed longer than necessary. He'd come home exhausted, distracted, like his mind was somewhere else. When I'd ask about his day, he'd give vague answers. Fine. Busy. You know how it is. But something changed, slowly. So slowly I didn't notice it first. Or maybe I noticed and ignored it. Because noticing meant acknowledging. And acknowledging meant dealing with something I didn't want to deal with. Owen started working later, staying at the office until 8, 9, sometimes 10. Big project, he'd say. Important client. Can't let them down. I understood. Success requires sacrifice. I'd been married to him long enough to know that, to accept it, but it kept getting worse. Later nights, weekend work, business trips that seemed longer than necessary. He'd come home exhausted, distracted, like his mind was somewhere else. When I'd ask about his day, he'd give vague answers. Fine, busy. You know how it is. I started feeling like a roommate instead of a wife. We'd pass each other in the house, exchange pleasantries, coordinate schedules. But we didn't really talk anymore, didn't really connect. We existed in parallel. Same house, different worlds. I tried. I really tried. I'd make his favorite meals, plan date nights, suggest weekend trips. He'd agree, say yes, make plans, then cancel at the last minute. Work emergency, client crisis. Something always came up, something always more important than us. I told myself it was temporary. This project would end. Things would go back to normal. We'd reconnect. We'd remember why we fell in love. We just needed to get through this busy period. But the busy period never ended. It just became our new normal. 6 months ago, things shifted again. Owen started dressing differently. Better. More expensive clothes. Designer shirts, Italian shoes, a new watch. $1,000 watch. I noticed because I'd never seen it before. Asked him about it. He said it was a gift. From a client. For a job well done. Must have been some job, I said. It was, he replied. But he didn't elaborate. Didn't tell me about the project. Didn't share the success. Just wore the watch and moved on. He started going to the gym. 5 days a week. Sometimes 6. Said he needed to take better care of himself, get healthy, look good. I encouraged it, thought it was positive. Men his age often let themselves go, got soft, stopped caring. Owen was different. He was trying. He lost weight, 15 pounds, maybe 20. Got a new haircut, styled, modern, younger than his 65 years. Started using cologne, expensive cologne. The kind that comes in heavy glass bottles and costs more than dinner for 2. I should have seen it. All the signs. Classic midlife crisis, or worse. But I didn't. I chose not to. Because seeing it meant confronting it. And confronting it meant risking everything. The marriage, the life, the comfortable lie we'd been living. Then came the text messages. Always the same. Working late, don't wait up. 3 nights a week, then 4. Always Tuesday and Thursday, sometimes Monday and Wednesday too. I'd sit at home, in our big house, in our beautiful kitchen, eating dinner alone, watching TV alone, going to bed alone, waking up next to him, but feeling completely alone. I started noticing other things, small things. His phone was always face down, always password protected. He'd changed the code. Used to be our anniversary. Now it was something else. something I didn't know. When I asked, he said it was for security. Hackers, identity theft. Can't be too careful. He took calls in other rooms, stepped outside, went to his car. Always private, always away from me. When I'd ask who it was, he'd say work. Always work. Client, colleague, contractor, always someone from the office. He started doing his own laundry, suddenly. After 38 years of me washing his clothes, he wanted to do it himself. Said it was about being self-sufficient, not relying on me so much. Being independent. I thought it was strange. But what was I supposed to say? Don't do your own laundry? That would sound crazy. I found receipts, restaurants I'd never been to, stores I'd never heard of. Charges on our credit card for things I didn't recognize. When I asked, he'd say they were business expenses, client dinners, gifts for projects, supplies for the office. Always an explanation, always reasonable, always believable. I wanted to believe him, desperately. Because not believing meant accepting something horrible, something that would destroy everything we'd built. So I believed. I chose to believe. But doubt is a seed. Once planted, it grows, quietly, persistently, until it takes over everything. I started watching him more carefully, paying attention, really paying attention, to his patterns, his habits, his moods. He was happier, lighter, like he had a secret. A good secret. Something that made him smile when he thought I wasn't looking. He'd check his phone constantly, smile at messages, type quickly, laugh sometimes, at nothing, at something on the screen, something I couldn't see, something he wouldn't share. When I'd walk into a room, he'd put the phone down, or turn it over, or slip it into his pocket. Quick, casual, like it was nothing, like he wasn't hiding anything. Who was that? I'd ask. No one, just work. Always work. Everything was work. I called his office once, during the day, just to talk, to hear his voice, to feel connected. His secretary answered, said he was in a meeting. Would I like to leave a message? No message, I said. I'll try later. I didn't try later. I sat with the phone in my hand, wondering, was he really in a meeting? Or was that what he'd told her to say? Was he training his staff to lie for him? To cover for him? I felt crazy, paranoid, like one of those suspicious wives in movies, the ones who go through their husbands' pockets and check their phones and hire private investigators. I didn't want to be that woman, didn't want to become that person. So I did nothing, said nothing, just watched and waited and hoped I was wrong. But then came last Tuesday, the text at 6, working late again, don't wait up. I stared at that message, read it over and over. The words started to lose meaning. Just letters, just sounds, working late, working late, working late. I looked around my kitchen, at the granite countertops, the stainless steel appliances, the expensive things we'd accumulated over decades, cold, clean, empty. Then I did something spontaneous, something unlike me, something desperate. I opened the refrigerator, pulled out ingredients, beef, carrots, potatoes, onions, his favorite meal, pot roast. The way his mother used to make it. She'd taught me when we first got married, her special recipe, her gift to me. This is how you keep a man happy, she'd said, good food, made with love. I'd made it 1,000 times over the years. Birthdays, anniversaries, celebrations, comfort food when things were hard. Family dinners when the kids came home. It was more than food. It was love, history, connection. I spent 2 hours cooking, carefully, precisely, following every step, browning the meat, sautéing the vegetables, adding the broth, letting it simmer. The smell filled the house, rich, warm, home. I packed it in containers, still hot, the kind with tight lids that keep everything warm. Put them in a bag, grabbed my keys, got in my car. I didn't plan it, didn't think about what I was doing, just moved. Automatic, driven by something deeper than thought. Instinct, maybe, or desperation, or the need to know. Finally, definitively, no. The drive downtown took 30 minutes. Rush hour traffic thinning out. The city transitioning from day to night. Office buildings glowing. Windows lit up. People working late. Or pretending to work late. Or doing things they didn't want their spouses to know about. I parked in the lot, Owen's building. Glass and steel. Modern, impressive, one of his. He designed it years ago. Been so proud. It was his signature building. His legacy. And now I was here, bringing him dinner. Like a wife from the 1950s. Playing a role I didn't even recognize anymore. A parking lot was almost empty. Just a few cars scattered around. And there, in his usual spot, Owen's car. Silver BMW. The one he'd bought 2 years ago. Said he deserved it. After all these years of hard work. I'd agreed. Of course he deserved it. I sat in my car for a minute, engine off. Bag of food in my lap. Still worn. Still smelling like home. Like love. Like everything we used to be. I could leave. Drive home. Pretend this never happened. Go back to the comfortable ignorance. The safe denial. But I couldn't. Something pulled me forward, pulled me out of the car. Pulled me toward the truth. I walked to the building. The lobby was dim. Just security lights. A guard at the desk. He looked up when I came in. "Can I help you?" "I'm here to see my husband, Owen Anderson, 3rd floor." He checked his computer. "You're Mrs. Anderson?" "Yes." "Go ahead. Elevator's on the right." He didn't question it. Didn't call up to verify. Just let me through. Because why wouldn't he? I was the wife. The wife is always allowed. The wife is safe, trusted, expected. The elevator ride felt eternal. 3 floors. 20 seconds maybe. But time stretched, warped. Each floor, a lifetime, a possibility, a choice. The doors opened. 3rd floor. Executive offices. Nice carpet. Expensive art on the walls. Glass doors. Everything transparent. Nothing to hide. Except the things people hide in plain sight. I walked slowly. Down the hall. Toward Owen's office. The lights were on. I could see them from here. Bright. Working. He was here. Really working late. Like he'd said. I felt relief. Then guilt. For doubting. For being paranoid. For being that wife. But then I got closer. Close enough to see through the glass door. Close enough to see inside. And I stopped. Frozen. Unable to move. Unable to breathe. Unable to process what I was seeing. Owen was there. At his desk. But he wasn't working. Wasn't alone. A woman sat on the edge of his desk. Young. Maybe 30. 35 at most. Dark hair. Pretty. Very pretty. She was laughing, throwing her head back, touching his arm. Comfortable. Familiar. Like she'd done it 1,000 times before. Owen was laughing too. Really laughing. The kind of laugh I hadn't heard from him in years. Genuine. Free. Happy. He leaned back in his chair. Relaxed. At ease. Like he was exactly where he wanted to be. With exactly who he wanted to be with. I stood there, in the hallway, holding containers of pot roast, still warm, still smelling like home, watching my husband laugh with another woman, in his office, where he'd said he was working late, where he'd been working late for months. They didn't see me, too absorbed in each other, in their moment, in their world that didn't include me. I watched for maybe a minute, maybe longer. Time stopped meaning anything. I watched her touch his hand, watched him smile at her, watched them exist together. Easy, natural, right. And I understood, finally, completely. This wasn't new. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was established. This was comfortable. This was real. This was what working late really meant. I turned around, slowly, quietly, walked back down the hall, to the elevator, pressed the button, waited. The doors opened. I stepped inside. The containers were still in my hands, still warm, but cooling, like everything else. I put them down, on the floor of the elevator, carefully, gently, like they mattered, like they meant something. Then I pressed the button for the lobby, watched the doors close, watched the third floor disappear. In the lobby, I walked past the security guard. He said something. I don't know what. Didn't hear. Didn't care. Just kept walking. Out the door, across the parking lot, to my car. I sat in the driver's seat, engine off, hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing, feeling everything and nothing at the same time. 38 years, gone. In one moment, one glimpse, one truth I couldn't unsee, couldn't unknown, couldn't go back from. My phone buzzed. A text. From Owen. Meeting running late. Might be another hour. Love you. Love you. 2 words. Meaningless. Empty. A lie wrapped in habit. Wrapped in convenience. I started the car. Drove home. Automatic. Muscle memory. I don't remember the drive. Don't remember parking. Don't remember walking inside. But suddenly, I was there. In my kitchen. In my beautiful, empty kitchen. I stood at the sink, looking out the window, at our backyard, at the life we'd built. The grass Owen mowed every Sunday. The garden I tended. The patio where we'd hosted countless barbecues and birthday parties and family gatherings. All of it, real, solid, there, but also not there, not real, not what I thought it was. A stage, a set, a performance we'd been giving for years, maybe decades, playing the roles of happy couple, successful husband, supportive wife. The American dream, the lie. My phone buzzed again. Another text. Owen. Finally done. Heading home. Be there in 30 minutes. 30 minutes to decide what to do, what to say, how to be. Do I confront him? Do I pretend I don't know? Do I keep playing the role? Do I burn it all down? I sat at the kitchen table. The same table where we'd eaten thousands of meals. Where we'd helped the kids with homework. Where we'd paid bills and planned vacations and made decisions about paint colors and school districts and retirement plans. I put my head in my hands and I cried. Not loud, not dramatic, just quiet tears. The kind that come from somewhere deep, somewhere broken, somewhere that knows healing will take a very long time. The garage door opened. Owen was home. I heard his car, his footsteps, the door opening, his keys on the counter. Normal sounds, everyday sounds, sounds I'd heard 10,000 times, but different now, tainted, colored by what I knew. He walked into the kitchen, saw me at the table, stopped. Grace? You okay? I looked up at him. This man I'd spent my life with. This stranger wearing my husband's face. I'm fine, I said. Long day. He came closer, kissed the top of my head. Casual, routine, meaningless. He smelled like cologne, that expensive cologne. And something else, perfume, floral, young, not mine. I know the feeling, he said. Meetings all day, exhausting. Lies, so easy, so smooth, so practiced. How was your meeting? I asked. Voice steady, calm. Nothing betrayed what I knew, what I'd seen. Fine, productive, clients happy. He opened the refrigerator, looking for food. For the dinner I'dn't made, because I'd spent 2 hours making pot roast I'd left in an elevator. There's leftover chicken, I said, from yesterday. Perfect. He pulled it out, heated it in the microwave, ate standing at the counter, still in his work clothes, still smelling like her, still lying, still betraying, still pretending. I watched him. This performance, this lie, this life. And I made a decision. Not yet, not tonight, but soon, very soon. This would end, one way or another. I would find out who she was, how long it had been, what it meant. And then I would decide what came next, what I deserved, what he deserved. But tonight I would play the role, the oblivious wife, the trusting woman, the fool. Because tomorrow I would become something else, someone else. Someone who didn't accept lies, someone who demanded truth, someone who knew her worth. Tomorrow, but not tonight. Tonight I would sleep next to a stranger and plan. I didn't sleep that night, just lay there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Owen snored softly next to me. Peaceful, content, unaware that I knew that everything had changed, that our marriage was over, even if he didn't know it yet. At 6 in the morning, I got up, showered, dressed, made coffee. Normal routine, normal movements. But nothing was normal. Something had shifted inside me. Something hard and cold and clear had replaced the confusion, the doubt, the desperate hope that I was wrong. I wasn't wrong. I knew exactly what I'd seen, and now I needed to know more. Everything. Who she was, how long, what he'd told her, what promises he'd made, what lies he'd built our life on. Owen came down at 7, dressed for work, tie, jacket, that expensive cologne, ready for another day of meetings, another day of lies. "Morning," he said, kissed my cheek, poured coffee. Same routine, same performance. "Morning," I replied. "What time will you be home?" "Probably around 6. Normal day, no late meetings." He smiled. Like that meant something. Like coming home on time once was some kind of gift. "Good," I said. "I'll make dinner." "Sounds perfect." He finished his coffee, grabbed his briefcase, keys, phone, all the tools of his deception. "Love you." "Love you too," I said. The words hollow, mechanical, but necessary, for now. He left. I heard his car start, drive away. Then silence. Complete silence. The house felt different. Emptier. Or maybe I just felt emptier. Hollow. Like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left just the shell. I sat at the kitchen table, opened my laptop, started searching. Owen Anderson, architect, awards, projects, articles. His professional life was easy to find, impressive, successful, exactly what he'd always wanted. Then I searched for the firm, found their website, employee directory, scrolled through faces, names, titles, looking for her, the woman from last night. Dark hair, 30-something, pretty, laughing on his desk. And there she was, 5th row, 3rd photo. Emma Mitchell, junior architect. Joined the firm 2 years ago. Graduated from Washington State. Specialized in sustainable design. Young, talented. Everything I wasn't anymore. Emma. Her name was Emma. I stared at her photo. Professional, smiling, confident. She looked happy, successful, like someone who had her whole life ahead of her. Someone who didn't care about destroying marriages. Or maybe she didn't know. Maybe Owen had lied to her too, told her I didn't understand him, that our marriage was over, that he was leaving me. Soon. Just needed the right time. I wondered what he'd told her, what story he'd created, what version of himself he'd presented. The lonely husband, the misunderstood artist, the man trapped in a loveless marriage. Whatever it was, she'd believed it. They always do. I needed more information, more evidence, more proof before I confronted him. before I burned everything down. I needed to be smart, strategic, careful. I called Lily, my daughter. She answered on the third ring. Mom, everything okay? Can you come over? Today, I need to talk to you. Is Dad okay? He's fine. I need you. I'll be there in an hour. She was there in 40 minutes. Let herself in with her key. Found me still at the kitchen table, still staring at Emma Mitchell's photo on the screen. Mom? She sat down next to me, touched my hand. What's wrong? I told her. Everything. The working late, the signs, the pot roast, the office, the woman. Emma. All of it. Lily's face went white. What do you need? I need to know how long. I need evidence. Photos, messages, something concrete. Something he can't explain away. Lily was quiet for a moment, thinking. Then she pulled out her phone, started typing. I have a friend. From college. She went through something similar. Her husband was cheating. She hired someone, a private investigator, got everything she needed, took him for everything in the divorce. A private investigator? That feels, I don't know, extreme? Mom, Dad's having an affair. That's extreme. You need to protect yourself. Legally, financially, emotionally. You need proof. She was right. I knew she was right. But actually hiring someone, actually taking that step, it made it real. Final. There was no going back from that. Okay, I said. Give me the number. The investigator's name was Marcus Ryan. He had an office downtown. Small, discreet, professional. I met him the next day, told him everything. He listened without judgment, took notes, asked questions. How long? What evidence did I have? What did I need? I need to know everything, I said. How long it's been, where they go, what they do. I need proof. For divorce, from my lawyer. I can do that, Marcus said. It'll take about 2 weeks. Maybe less if they're not careful. And from what you've told me, they're not being careful. How much? He told me. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth it. Worth knowing. Worth having ammunition. Worth protecting myself. Do it, I said. For 2 weeks, I pretended everything was normal. Cooked dinner, cleaned house, smiled at Owen, kissed him goodbye, welcomed him home, played the role of devoted wife, while Marcus followed him, photographed him, documented him, gathered evidence. Owen had no idea. He kept working late, kept lying, kept coming home smelling like her perfume, kept thinking I was stupid, blind, trusting, everything I'd always been, everything I wasn't anymore. Marcus called me after 12 days. I have everything you need. Can you come to my office? I went that afternoon. Owen was at work. Really at work this time. I'd checked. Marcus laid out the evidence, photos, dozens of them. Owen and Emma at restaurants, at her apartment, getting into cars together, kissing, holding hands, looking at each other the way he used to look at me, 100 years ago. When we were young and stupid and believed in forever. How long? I asked. Based on what I found, at least 18 months, maybe 2 years. They're careful, but not careful enough. They have a routine, Tuesday and Thursday dinners, sometimes Saturdays. He tells you he's working. He goes to her place, stays until late, sometimes overnight. He has clothes there, a toothbrush. He's living 2 lives, 2 years, maybe more. While I've been making dinners he didn't eat, planning trips he'd cancel, trying to reconnect with someone who'd already left, mentally, emotionally, physically. There's something else, Marcus said. He pulled out another folder. Financial records. He's been moving money. Slowly. Small amounts. From your joint accounts to a separate account. One you don't have access to. About $70,000 over the past year. $70,000. Our money. Our retirement. Our future. He'd been stealing it. Planning his exit. Preparing to leave me. while I'd been completely oblivious. "I'm sorry," Marcus said. "I know this is hard, but you needed to know. You need to protect yourself." I called Patricia Chen, the divorce lawyer Lily had recommended, made an appointment for the next day. Then I went inside, made dinner, set the table, waited for Owen to come home. He arrived at 7, smiling, cheerful, whistling, like everything was perfect, like he wasn't a liar and a thief and a cheater. "Smells good," he said, kissed my cheek. "What are we having?" "Chicken, your favorite." "Perfect, I'm starving." We ate, made small talk. He told me about his day, meetings, clients, deadlines, all lies. Or maybe some truth mixed with lies. Impossible to tell anymore. Impossible to trust anything he said. "Thank you," I said, numb, hollow. "Can I have copies of everything?" "Already made them. It's all yours. Take it to a lawyer. File for divorce. Get what you deserve." I took the folders, drove home, sat in my car in the garage for a long time, just sat there, holding evidence of my husband's betrayal, proof that everything I believed was a lie, that the man I'd loved for 38 years had been living a double life, planning to abandon me, stealing from me, while I'd been cooking his favorite meals and doing his laundry and believing in us. After dinner, I cleaned up. He went to his study, to work, or to text Emma, or to plan his next lie. I didn't know, didn't care anymore. I went upstairs, to our bedroom, opened his closet, started going through his things, systematically, carefully, looking for more evidence, more proof, more pieces of the puzzle. In the back of his closet, behind old clothes he never wore, I found a box, unmarked, dusty, like it had been there a while. I opened it. I heard footsteps, Owen coming upstairs. I quickly put everything back, closed the box, pushed it back behind the clothes, stood up, composed myself. He walked into the bedroom, saw me by the closet. "What are you doing?" "Looking for my sweater, the blue one. Have you seen it?" "No, check the laundry." "Good idea." I walked past him, went to the bathroom, closed the door, sat on the edge of the tub, breathed, just breathed. Tomorrow I'd meet with Patricia. Tomorrow I'd start the process. Tomorrow I'd stop pretending. Inside were cards, birthday cards, Valentine's cards, anniversary cards, from Emma to Owen, dating back 2 years. Proof, written proof, in her handwriting. Love notes, promises, plans for their future. There was also a ring, small, delicate, an engagement ring. He'd bought her an engagement ring, was going to propose, was going to leave me, marry her, start over, like our 38 years, meant nothing. I sat on the floor, holding that ring, that tiny piece of metal and stone. That represented everything. His betrayal, his plans, his future, that didn't include me. But tonight, one more night, one more performance, then it would be over. I met with Patricia the next morning, showed her everything, photos, financial records, the cards. She went through it all, methodically, taking notes, occasionally shaking her head. "This is good," she said. "Really good. For you. Really bad for him. Washington is a no-fault state, so technically adultery doesn't matter. But financially, this matters a lot. He moved marital assets without your knowledge. That's financial misconduct. We can use this. What do I do? File for divorce, immediately. Cite irreconcilable differences. Demand full accounting of assets. Request temporary support. And get a forensic accountant to track every penny he moved. How long will it take? Depends. If he fights, could be a year, maybe more. If he settles, could be 6 months. Either way, you'll be okay. The evidence is solid. You'll get your share. Plus reimbursement for what he stole. Plus attorney fees. When do we start? Today. I'll file the papers. He'll be served within 48 hours. Are you ready for that? For his reaction. Was I ready? I didn't know. But I didn't have a choice. Not anymore. This was happening, whether I was ready or not. Yes, I said, I'm ready. 2 days later, on a Thursday afternoon, Owen was served. At his office. By a process server. In front of colleagues. In front of Emma, probably. Public. Humiliating. Exactly what he deserved. He called me immediately. Furious. Panicked. What the hell, Grace? Divorce papers? Really? Without even talking to me? We're past talking, I said. Calm. Cold. I know everything. Emma, the money, the ring. All of it. We're done. Silence. Long silence. Then, I can explain. No, you can't. There's no explanation. No excuse. You cheated. You stole. You lied. For 2 years. You bought her an engagement ring. You were planning to leave me. So I'm leaving you first. Grace, please, let's talk about this. Face to face. Like adults. Fine. Come home. Tonight. We'll talk. He came home at 6. I was ready. Had printed copies of all the evidence. Photos, bank statements, cards. Laid them out on the kitchen table. A timeline of betrayal. Proof. Undeniable. Devastating. He walked in, saw the table, stopped, went pale. Where did you get these? Does it matter? They're real. You can't deny them. So don't try. He sat down, stared at the photos, at his own face, at Emma's face, at proof of his double life. How long have you known? He asked quietly. Long enough. I saw you, at your office, 3 weeks ago. I brought you dinner, pot roast, your favorite. Found you with her, laughing, happy, together. You were there? Yes. I left the food by the elevator, came home, hired an investigator, got proof. Now I'm divorcing you. He looked up, tears in his eyes. Real tears, or fake, impossible to tell. I'm sorry. I never meant for this to happen. But it did happen. You made it happen. Every choice, every lie, every time you chose her over me, over us, over 38 years. I love her. 3 words. Simple, final, true. He loved her, not me. Maybe never me. Or maybe once me. But not anymore. Not for a long time. Does she know you're married? I asked. Yes, she knows. Does she know you were planning to leave me? Yes. Does she know you stole $70,000 from our retirement? He flinched. I was going to pay it back. When? After you married her? After you started your new life? With my money? Our money. No, my money. Money I earned. Money I saved. He stood up. Angry now. Defensive. Fine. Take everything. Take the house, the money. All of it. I don't care. I have Emma. I have love. Real love. Something we haven't had in years. We didn't have love because you killed it. You chose to kill it. You chose work over me. You chose her over me. You chose yourself over us. Every single day. For years. Don't blame me for your choices. You're right, he said, suddenly deflating, sitting back down. You're absolutely right. This is my fault. All of it. I'm sorry, truly. You deserved better. Yes, I did. And now I'll have better. A life without lies, without betrayal, without you. He nodded, defeated, exhausted. What do you want me to do? Pack your things. Move out. Tonight. Go to Emma. Go to whatever future you've been planning. Just go. He went upstairs. I heard him moving around, packing. 38 years reduced to suitcases and boxes. He came down an hour later. 3 suitcases. 2 boxes. Everything that mattered to him. Everything he needed for his new life. He stood in the doorway, looking at me. One last time. For what it's worth, I really am sorry. You're a good person. You deserved better than this. Yes, I did. Goodbye, Owen. Goodbye, Grace. He left. I heard his car start, drive away. Then silence. Complete silence. Louder than any sound. I stood in my empty house. My beautiful, empty house. And I felt nothing. Not relief. Not sadness. Just empty. Hollow. Done. I called Lily. Told her. She came over. Brought Adrian. They stayed with me. Made tea. Ordered food. Sat with me in silence. No judgment. No I told you so. Just presence. Just love. Just family. The divorce took 8 months. Owen fought some things, settled others. Patricia was relentless. Got me the house. 60% of retirement accounts. Full reimbursement for the stolen money. Plus attorney fees. Plus 3 years spousal support, while I figured out what came next. The judge was sympathetic. A woman in her 50s. She'd seen it before. Older husband, younger woman. Midlife crisis wrapped in betrayal. She had no patience for it. Mr. Anderson, she said during the final hearing, you violated your marriage vows. You violated financial agreements. You stole from your wife to fund an affair. This court finds your behavior reprehensible and deserving of consequences. Owen's lawyer objected, argued, made excuses. The judge shut him down. My ruling stands. Mrs. Anderson will receive everything outlined in the settlement, plus an additional $10,000 for pain and suffering. This case is closed. Outside the courthouse, Owen tried to talk to me. I walked past him, didn't look, didn't stop, didn't acknowledge him. He no longer existed in my world. I heard through Lily that he married Emma 6 months after our divorce was final. Small ceremony, just immediate family. They bought a condo downtown, started their life together, built on the ruins of mine. I hoped they were happy. Not really, but I told myself I hoped so. Because being bitter takes energy. Being angry is exhausting. I didn't want to waste any more time on them, on him, on what could have been. I sold the house. Too big, too many memories, too much Owen. Bought a smaller place, a townhouse near Lily and her family. 2 bedrooms, modern, clean, new, mine, completely mine. I decorated exactly how I wanted. Colors Owen would have hated. Furniture he would have called impractical. Art he wouldn't have understood. Every choice mine. Every decision mine. My space, my rules, my life. I started therapy, worked through betrayal, trust issues, rebuilding identity after decades of being someone's wife, learning who I was without him, who I'd been before him, who I could be after him. I started painting, something I'd loved as a young woman, before marriage, before children, before life got busy and art got pushed aside. I set up an easel in my spare bedroom, bought paints, canvases, brushes, and I painted. Badly at first, then better, then good, then really good. I joined a class, met other people, other artists, some young, some old, some divorced like me, some widowed, some never married. All of us creating, making something beautiful from nothing, from pain, from experience, from life. I made friends, real friends, women who showed up, who listened, who didn't betray, who understood loss and rebuilding and starting over. We had coffee, went to galleries, took trips, lived, really lived. I started dating a year after the divorce. Nothing serious. Coffee, dinner, movies, men my age, some widowed, some scars, lessons learned the hard way. Some were nice, some weren't. None of them were Owen, which was the point. I didn't want another Owen, didn't want another marriage built on assumptions and comfort and eventual betrayal. I wanted something real, honest, clear. I met someone. His name was Marcus, not the investigator, different Marcus. He was a retired teacher, 68, widowed 5 years, kind eyes, good listener, no agenda, no games. just himself. Real, human, flawed. We took it slow, very slow. Coffee dates for 3 months, then dinner, then movies, then weekend trips. Building trust, building friendship, building something solid before calling it anything more. You never asked about Owen, never wanted details, never tried to fix me or save me or be the hero. Just existed beside me, patient, present, real. I like you, he said one day. 6 months into whatever we were doing. I like who you are, who you're becoming. I want to be part of that, if you'll let me. I like you too, I said. I'm scared of trusting, of being hurt again, of being wrong. I'm scared too, of losing someone again, of being alone forever, of being too old to start over. But I think being scared is normal. Being careful is smart. Being open is brave. And I think you're very brave. And maybe I was. Maybe surviving betrayal makes you brave. Or maybe just being willing to try again, to risk again, to love again. Maybe that's the bravest thing. I'm 65 now. 2 years past the divorce. 2 years into my new life. My real life. The one I chose, the one I built, the one that's mine. I still paint, still see Marcus, still have coffee with my friends. Still spend time with Lily and Adrian and my grandchildren. Still learning, still growing, still becoming. Emma looked bored. Like maybe the fantasy wasn't as good as reality. Like maybe stealing someone else's husband wasn't the happy ending she'd imagined. I didn't feel angry, didn't feel sad, didn't feel anything really. They were just people. Strangers who used to be important, who used to matter, who'd shaped my life in terrible ways. But who didn't anymore. Owen nodded. A small acknowledgement. I nodded back, then looked away. Back to Marcus, back to my life. The one without Owen. A better one. Some people ask if I regret the marriage, if I wish it had never happened. The answer is complicated. No, because it gave me Lily and Adrian, grandchildren, experiences, lessons, growth. But yes, because it ended in betrayal, in lies, in discovering that the person I trusted most was the person who hurt me most. But mostly, I don't think about it anymore. Don't dwell. Don't wonder what if. Don't waste time on might have been. I think about now, about tomorrow, about the life I'm building, the person I'm becoming, the future I'm creating. Some people ask if I regret the marriage, if I wish it had never happened. The answer is complicated. No, because it gave me Lily and Adrian, grandchildren, experiences, lessons, growth. But yes, because it ended in betrayal, in lies, in discovering that the person I trusted most was the person who hurt me most. But mostly, I don't think about it anymore. Don't dwell. Don't wonder what if. Don't waste time on might have been. I think about now, about tomorrow, about the life I'm building, the person I'm becoming, the future I'm creating. That's not revenge. That's not even justice. That's just choosing yourself, choosing truth, choosing freedom, choosing to live fully even after everything falls apart. Owen made his choice, Emma made hers, and I made mine. To survive, to heal, to thrive, to prove that life doesn't end when marriage does, that happiness doesn't require a partner, that 63 isn't too old to start over, to be brave, to try again. That's my story, my truth, my life, and it's enough, more than enough. It's everything. What would you do if this happened to you? Tell me in the comments. I always read them. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true life stories like mine. That's not revenge. That's not even justice. That's just choosing yourself, choosing truth, choosing freedom, choosing to live fully even after everything falls apart. Owen made his choice. Emma made hers. And I made mine. To survive, to heal, to thrive, to prove that life doesn't end when marriage does. that happiness doesn't require a partner, that 63 isn't too old to start over, to be brave, to try again. That's my story, my truth, my life, and it's enough. More than enough. It's everything. What would you do if this happened to you? Tell me in the comments. I always read them. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more true life stories like mine.